Hello everyone, my name is Vicky Styles and what I'm here to talk about today is titled Far From Home. Now this is a Nollywood TV series, not a feature movie, and I'm going to be talking about all the 5 episodes of this series in this video. But before I get into the details, please subscribe to this channel and click the bell notification beside the subscribe button so that you can get notified anytime I upload another video to this channel. I do a lot of movie criticism, so if you're interested in getting the latest movie updates, then stay subscribed to this channel. Like this video, comment and share. I will definitely put your comments on this video or any other of my videos in my next video, which is Far From Home is a college TV series made by Netflix, and it is more like the second ever Nollywood Netflix original. And that was after Blood Sisters, which was earlier last year. This series was released in the late part of last year and it was directed by Kayode Kasum. Now, the series has this tendency of being confused with the Spider-Man Far From Home. I've noticed it majority of times whenever I go on the internet and I search on Google and all these other platforms. But I'm here to assure you that there is no need for you to confuse the two. Just search Far From Home Nollywood series and you will get the exact result for this series. Now, without too many spoilers, here is the whole idea of the film. Ishaya, he's a young artist and he's also the son of an artist as well. He's trying to, get himself, big in the art industry, and in order to do that, he signs up for a program with one famous artist, and he doesn't have the money to go for that program. So instead, he gets himself involved in this Wilma Academy scholarship and he passes the exam. But before he passed the exam, he actually stole money from a group of gangsters who are known as Oga Rambo and Mr. Government. They find him and eventually, of course, they would want their money back. And that causes problems after problems. Like I said, no too many spoilers in this details. Now, one thing I like about this series is the cinematography and the movement from one scene to another. It's actually fun, although I don't really like most cut scenes, but this movie actually made me enjoy it, and I think the general cinematography of this movie was fun and made it fun to watch. Now, the themes of this series as well was enough to also keep me watching, and I'll talk about the themes later on when I'm comparing it with other movies. The characters as well, from Ishaya, Carmen, Atlas, and whole Oga Rambo, these characters also made the film fun, and the acting quality was also good as well. Now, one thing I like about Oga Rambo as a whole is that they made it like this guy who doesn't really speak too much English, and his main English is bad. His English is bad, and so in order for him to communicate, he has to use mostly Yoruba. That's the way I love their portraying of this character. While for Ishaya, the main character, I love the fact that they portrayed him as a dedicated hustler. That's one. Then Carmen, Atlas, these are just students who were portrayed as people with a lot of baggage, and they try as much as possible to make themselves look perfect in the eyes of other people. As for Reggie, who majority of people are talking about these days, Reggie is a cool guy for me, and I kind of understand why he's popular, both as a real life actor and as the character. He's a cool guy, tall, handsome, and everything. So, you know, it's very easy for people to even like him both in the movie and out of the movie. Now, some of the major themes that I noticed in this movie: one, dedication to your hustle; two, gangster life or vices, things like, you know, stripping, things like, other, notorious ways of life. And ghetto life is also a major theme here, as well as elite life. It's easy to see both life of a Nigerian from the elite side and also from the ghetto side. So you don't just see how the elites are enjoying themselves. You also get to see how the normal people are, you know finding a way to get by in life. That is These are the major things that I noticed in this series. Also, drug addiction was also a key theme in this series. Not just drug addiction though, but also drug trafficking, illegal drug trafficking, and illegal business. Now, if you compare this movie to other, school like Nollywood movies like Sugar, and some other, college like movies that have ever been released in Nollywood, you notice that this movie just deals with other, vices in the society, excluding sex and sexual content. Yes, I noticed it that, well, even though there was sexual content in this series, but it wasn't that much. It wasn't really a topic of discussion, but it was happening though. It wasn't really a topic of discussion. Unlike, films like Sugar, where it is both a topic of discussion and I think it's even a major theme in Sugar. So this movie actually, to me, stands out, and it's fun to watch. I must praise the actors for their, unique performance in this series. They we had a lot of Nollywood legends coming into this series, and we also had a couple of newer stars coming into this series, and it was just a blend of professionalism from all the actors all together. I mostly praised the acting of Funke Akindele and the guy who starred as Demrele. These two people, they portrayed their characters very well, and especially Demrele portraying this the actor portraying this, quiet guy who finds it difficult to make friends even in school. It's very professional of them. In general, if I must you know analyze the acting performance of this show. Now, for the soundtracks of this show, I think they took time to, differentiate themselves in this series, because for like non-copyright soundtracks, you get to hear nice sounds, nice beats in this series, and for copyright soundtracks, you get to hear songs from big names in the Nigerian music industry. So they did a very good job, just like in that of Blood Sisters, to blend, copyright and non-copyright songs and put them in specific places where they needed to be. So that's what I have to say for the soundtrack. Now, in general, I just describe this movie as the best way of seeing life from a young Nigerian's point of view. That is my general review of this movie. And if I must rate this series, I would give it a 9.1 out of 10. Why? Because to me, majority of things that were done in that school were not really typical of a real Nigerian school. I think they just, brought in a couple of things from American high school and all that, and they put it here, whereas in real life it's not really realistic. But it's not enough for me to give them a bad review. I'll just give them a 9.1 out of 10. They really did a good job in this series. Now, in order to get the best out of this series, what I suggest is just ignore the nude sides of this series. Just ignore it, especially in Oga Rambo and Mr. Government's secret stripper club. You'll see a lot of nude, explicit things, and just ignore it. That's one thing I would say. Also ignore most of the sexual content done in this series. That is, if you're not a fan of sexual content, you can ignore it. And I'd recommend you can watch this series with your teenage children. Parental guidance is still advised, highly advised. And what I would also advise you as a parent to do while watching this series with your children is that make sure that they get the proper education of the drugs that will be mentioned in this series. Let them not get confused as to what these drugs do for people. Let them get the real facts about these drugs. So those are my recommendations if you're watching this series. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe and remain subscribed by clicking the bell notification beside the subscribe button. Make your comment and I will put it in my next video. Also check out my older videos by checking the description down below. You just open the description and you'll see all my links down there. My social links are also available. You can check me out on Facebook and on Instagram as well. Check me out in these two places and follow me wherever you deem necessary. For now, thank you for watching this video and I'll see you in my next video.